The car you can see here is the GWM ORA Funky Cat. And no, I'm not joking, that is the actual name for this actual car. It's a small 30-odd thousand pound, 200-mile EV with all the kit that you can throw a stick at, even though sticks you throw for dogs, don't you, not cats. But regardless, if you can ignore the name, is this the new small EV to beat? Let's find out.
At launch, there's just one Funky Cat to choose from, the launch edition that you see here. We'll talk about the battery stats in a moment, but just consider the kind of kit that you're getting for your money. Dual 10.25-inch screens with sat-nav, 360-degree cameras, wireless phone charging, keyless entry and LED lights, as well as a long list of safety features. So long, in fact, the Funky Cat's already been awarded a 5-star Euro NCAP rating, all for the price of a Mini Electric or Fiat 500.
So it's a pretty good start for the Funky Cat, and actually things continue in here. Much to our surprise, quality is actually really very good. You've got some stitching on the dash, and all of these materials are really nice and soft to the touch. It feels like a high quality product, certainly for the 30-odd thousand pound starting price. You get 2 screens up here, all kind of within one bezel. You've got the infotainment system, that's really nice and responsive. It's got loads of features. You've got sat-nav. You don't get Apple CarPlay or Android Auto yet. That's coming as an over-the-air update next year, but otherwise all looks pretty slick. You've got some toggle switches down here. That's inspired by the Mini Electric, I would suggest. You've got some wireless phone charging, a nice, really easy to use gear selector there, and actually that easy to use theme translates to the buttons on the steering wheel as well. The one on the left, that controls the screen on the left, and the one on the right, that controls the screen on the right. Really simple and easy to use.
More versions of the Funky Cat will join the range next year, including, we're led to believe, a longer range version with a bigger battery. For now though, all launch cars get a relatively small 48 kWh battery for an official range of 193 miles, but actually we reckon 170 to 180 miles is probably realistic in normal driving. The Funky Cat's charging tech isn't anything to write home about, though if you can charge at home, that's unlikely to be too much cause for concern. If you're rapid charging on a regular basis, however, the 64 kilowatt maximum does seem a bit off the pace these days. A 15 to 80% charge takes almost 45 minutes.
Now, I mentioned the Mini and the Fiat, but the Funky Cat is actually closer in size to something like an ID.3 or a Megane E-Tech. Now, you'd reasonably expect, given this car's kind of unknown background and roots, that those cars would show this one a clean set of heels, at least in terms of handling, if not performance, but remarkably that is not the case. This thing feels solid as a rock. The ride is just the right side of firm, feeling kind of planted and controlled without being uncomfortable. And it's quick as well. 0 to 62 miles an hour takes 8.3 seconds, and if you floor the throttle on the way out of junctions, roundabouts, tight corners, it'll spin the inside wheel. It's actually surprisingly good fun to drive. It's even pretty compliant at speed. It's not whisper quiet, but it takes short motorway stints in its stride. Again, that firm, compliant ride really working in its favour. Now, ORA claims the Funky Cat is capable of one-pedal driving. It's not as simple as lift off and slow down. It's more adaptive than that, but actually once you learn to trust it, it's pretty good. The steering is probably this car's weak point, that and the fact that there's no rear wiper. But yeah, the steering, there's not much feel, there's not much weight to it, even in sport mode. But do you know what? It's not really cause for concern. The rest of the package more than makes up for it.
It's fair to say the ORA Funky Cat has, on the whole, impressed us thus far. The price and kit list allows it to undercut family electric cars like the Volkswagen ID.3, the Renault Megane E-Tech and Kia Niro EV, but its rear doors give it an advantage over city-focused rivals like the Mini Electric or Fiat 500.
But more on those in a moment. First of all, let me show you the boot, because that is just 228 litres, which is only slightly bigger than a Mini Electric and quite a bit down on something like an ID.3 or a Renault Megane. Kia Niro EV, 450 litres, so quite a bit bigger than what you get here. I don't care if you've got rear doors or not, that could be a deal breaker for quite a few family car buyers. If you're throwing a buggy in there, you're not going to have room for much else, and there's a big lip here to lift things over as well. So yeah, try before you buy. It seems things started pretty strongly, didn't they? And as we progressed, well, the Funky Cat held its own, didn't it? Here's what I think. This is not a bad car at all. And if you don't need a big boot, then this car holds its own against city-focused rivals like the Mini Electric or the Fiat 500. And given the fact that it's 3 or 4 grand cheaper than an ID.3, well, it looks pretty strong against bigger rivals as well. Now, throw in that larger battery as well as over-the-air updates like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that are due next year, and you've got yourself a pretty compelling package. Certainly more compelling than I thought and I was expecting when I picked up the keys this morning.
Head to DrivingElectric.com for all the latest electric and hybrid car advice, news and reviews, and check us out on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Finally, while you're here, make sure you hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel and turn on notifications to ensure you never miss a video.